Dimitri124. I noticed that there have been so many of you out there, like little Dimitri. So many. You got like 2 videos on your page. Then you come to a page where a person actually puts in some work, and you try to assert your, I guess, your proposed superiority or dominance or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Or what you thought was going to make you look intelligent. And then you just spit your opinion, and the person on the page whom you decided to invade with your BS explains to you the error of your ways, but you continue on this ignorant path. Now, normally, I don't really answer people, and I don't really spend the time calling them out because you're trolling. And we know that you wouldn't troll in real life. We know that in real life, you know, if I see you and I'm with my family and whatnot, and I'm doing what I'm doing, and, you know, you see me and you look up at me and you have something ignorant to say, you're going to think twice about saying that in real life. We know. So the difference is, you know, I have respect for people, you know, and I have a lot of respect for people when they have respect for themselves. But when certain people try to make others look foolish or try to sound or call people out of their names just because you don't understand what's going on, then I have issues. You know what I mean? I have some issues with that behavior. You know, it's not a smart thing to do to run around and call people stupid or call people idiots because you don't get something. You know, assumptions do a lot of things. And right now, your assumption, based on the fact that you don't understand that what I was talking about actually happened, most of what was in my review, and the review I'm talking about was, it wasn't even a review, it was just a video about the cancellation of Static Shock amongst the rest of the black characters that showed up in the New 52 that had their own books, that were headliners of their own books. They canceled all of them except for Batwing. Big surprise that the only one they didn't cancel was a Bat Family book, you know? Now, I brought up in my other video about the racism that exists in comics and in the media, you know, in film, whatever, especially, but mainly comic book stuff, you know? And, you know, you still have people that try to tell you that the shit's not real and it's not happening because they didn't experience it. But that's cool, man. You are not the only person that exists on this planet. So if you don't experience something, it's okay, just wait. You might. And if you don't, then kudos to you. Life is good, you know what I'm saying? But just because you didn't go through it doesn't mean it's not happening. And, you know, I would implore you to expand your fucking mind. It's just real simple. It's kind of frustrating to repeatedly have and see it, actually, because all over YouTube you got these little boys that have, you know, couillons the size of fucking, you know, freaking basketballs and shit. It's like, if you really think you're so hardcore and that everything is so, you know, you just got balls of steel, you know, and you're the smartest motherfucker there ever was, that's fine. But stay in your world with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't come into everybody else's shit and try to, you know, prove how smart you are and, you know, try to turn it into some type of, I don't know. Just, you know, keep your shit to yourself. You know, especially when the information that you don't believe is factual. Keep that shit to yourself. You know, this is a problem I have with YouTube and a problem I have with people like you. and you know, my subscribers, we have conversations. We don't run around and just accuse people of being idiots and fools, etc., etc., etc. And what you said is not even the worst thing that's been said on my page. And you know, because over less people have actually, you know, called me other names and called other people on my page other names because they were a fanboy of, you know, this game or this movie or this comic or whatever, and other people didn't share their feelings. So what I'm saying is, you don't believe that racism plays a part in whether or not certain books get canceled or not. And I'm here to tell you that it does. Usually DC is not the perpetrator with this. Usually other comic book companies do it, you know, mainly Marvel. But you don't see it. Okay. Does that mean it doesn't exist? No. Magnetism happens every day, all the time. Matter of fact, it's how the Earth is staying on its axis and how it's rotating and how many things move around through space, etc., etc. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't fucking exist. You know? I can't see your IQ, but your IQ must exist, right? Whatever it may be. So don't run around trying to judge shit on people's pages thinking that, you know, it's some kind of dick swinging contest that you're going to win. You know, I heard a great quote, and the quote was, arguing on the internet is like the Special Olympics. You could win, but in the end, you're still retarded. I know, it's very politically incorrect, but it's very fitting because some of the arguments that you see, especially on YouTube, are just stupid. I mean, you don't work for DC, you don't work for Marvel. You don't even work, from what I've seen, you're not even old enough to work in any of these, you know, these realms. I've worked for DC before. You know what I mean? I do my own, I do illustration. I have my own studio for this. I have done jobs where I've seen the racism actually play a part in how that work was used, you know, or sometimes if you got the job or not. So just because you didn't go through it doesn't mean that you have to judge it as if it just doesn't exist. And then furthermore, the information that was in my video, for the most part, especially the stuff specifically about what happened with Rosem and Static Shock, it came from Mr. Rosem himself. Sure, I put my opinion on top of that after I told you what was said and what was going on, but this is factual information. If you want to argue with facts, continue arguing with facts, you know what I mean? But I'm just letting you know, that's what we deal with here. I deal in facts. You know? I looked over at your page and I noticed that you pretty much had 3 videos. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't have any reason you don't have any reason to come onto other people's pages and criticize the shit out of what they're saying when you yourself don't really have it going on like that, you know? When you become an authority, go around and really criticize the shit out of people. Maybe then people will have something to, you know, to come to you for, because then you'll be an authority. But right now, it's just trolling. And, you know, like I said before, this is not the worst thing, but we're talking about racism here. Racism happens every day. And a little black kid talking about racism doesn't really happen. It doesn't play a part in the art world at all. This is comics. Comics is part of the art world. And you really are going to tell... You called me an idiot on my you know, video. And you're the one who doesn't believe that something very real actually happens and that it doesn't even pertain to this story. I mean, really, who's the idiot? All my subscribers know I treat people with respect, and I expect them to treat others with respect, and then you show up on here and You try to disrespect me as if you have some type of right to, and you weren't even smart about the topic that we're talking about. You really don't seem to know what's going on, but you have the freaking, you know, the audacity to have something ignorant to say on top of it. You know, it's cool though, because I don't really tolerate that shit. But I wanted to let you know, and I wanted to bring it to light. Your trolling is pretty lame, and it's not helpful. If you don't have anything insightful to say or to add to it, and you just want to throw names around, you need to do that shit elsewhere. You know, and I'm a little anxious to see what your next, what your next thing is going to be, what your next comment is going to be. You know, I'm trying to think if this should be something private that I send specifically to you, or if I should just put it up and let people see so they can go look at the other video and see what you said, you know? Because sometimes I don't understand what's going through people's minds when they do this, but I do know that you think because you're online and you have that quote-unquote anonymity that you can get away with just doing random shit to people and there's no consequence for it. You know, this is a small thing. You just call me an idiot. I've been called worse. It's not that big of a deal. The problem is the fact that you have issues with a story that's very real, and that you chose to call someone else an idiot based on the fact that you don't believe that this stuff is real. You just really need to recognize, you know? You must be one of those pretty privileged individuals who hasn't had to deal with this in the kind of way that many of us in the actual art world who are trying to work in this medium, you know, in this area of the entertainment business, we've had to deal with this, and the shit is very real. So anyway, that's my my little story, my piece. I wanted to put it out there because this kind of shit is one of those things that it's both unbelievable and funny at the same time, because it boggles my mind that we can live in a world where, you know, you see it on TV, you hear about the different immigration acts, you hear about all kinds of things, the inequality, and we've all read about the inequality from past, you know, past generations doing shit to one another, and then you have jackasses, yes, I'm throwing names around, who are of the same race that we have been, you know, it's documented that, you know, these kind of wrongs have been done to us based on race, but then when the topic comes up, you turn around and you say shit like it doesn't really exist, like it's fake, like it's inconsequential, you know what I mean? But then the day it happens to you, you can raise hell like everyone should now care because you finally joined the rest of the world in understanding the realities of things, you know? Anyway, I just had to get this out because it was kind of funny and it was kind of ironic because the subject matter and the dude's response, and then the fact that he happens to be black too, it's like, wow. And I'm not saying everyone black has to be discriminated against. What I'm saying is it happens, and people in general, especially those who tend to be the targets of this type of stuff, need to recognize and stop just sweeping it under the rug. And for you, you need to just pick your battles. Because, I mean, this is kind of stupid for you to jump on and say that about this topic. If you didn't agree with me, you could have just cut off the video and moved on, you know? I appreciate the view, but, yeah. All right, man, that's it. Peace.